What's up, wasters? You ready for some Fallout? I don't know.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul. Welcome to my Curious Corner of Controversy. Today, if you can't tell by the plethora of things presented in front of you, we're talking about Fallout. Got my little Pip-Boy here that's, custom fitted to loosely fit and fall apart and come... All right. Anyways, that's better. So, today we're talking about Fallout. It's going to be kind of a general talk. Today we're focusing on the main games, 1, 2, 3, 4, New Vegas, and then in a few weeks we'll follow up with a special all about 76 itself. But for starters, we're just going to give you a little bit of information about the Fallout series if you're not familiar with it. If you are, you probably already know this and probably more than I do. So, well, Fallout started in 1997, was the release of Fallout 1, which was on computers. Fallout 2 came out in 98. Fallout 3 came out a few years later after company kind of took over. Black Isle went under, reformed a few years later as Obsidian, which later on made New Vegas. But Fallout 3 was made by Bethesda, and Fallout 3 was my first introduction to the series. And I don't know. I think the first thing I remember was, for one, you've got the intro where you start in the vault, you build your character, you run around. If I remember right, you're a little kid at first. You run around, do some random stuff in the vault, shoot some rats in the bottom with a pellet gun or something like that. Later on, you grow up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then you finally exit the vault and just enter this desolate desert wasteland. And there's mutant schools, which are zombies, but not. They're not dead. They just look like zombies, but radioactive. And later on, there's ones that are still intelligent and still have their personalities and stuff, but they'll get to that. I think the thing that caught me completely off guard was using VATS for the first time, which was something they introduced in Fallout 3, which VATS stands for Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting System. Pretty sure that's correct. And so what it does is it super slows down time, and you can either pick targets individually and aim at limbs and stuff like that. And that was kind of based off of their old system, which was a more turn-based style, where you could individually pick limbs and stuff like that. But anyways, back in VATS, you slow down and target in on your whatever the head of the bloat fly. You shoot it, it explodes, slow motion, little cinematic. It was awesome. And that was my first really oh shit, this game's gonna be awesome. And I just continue to play, and I don't know, if you're into RPGs, you either love or hate these games. I find that a lot of people, gamers especially, they're very split down the middle. They either love the Fallout series or completely hate them. But I'm a huge fan of them. I love the building a character element. The stories in Fallout, they're always good stories at the core. Sometimes it's more about what you do along the way of the story and filling in all the little plot points and how a lot of things connect here or there. And then there's just the epic world that the companies build around them. That's just, you randomly find this desolate, broken down house. You go in and read a note about some little thing that seems trivial and pointless, but you do a little more investigating and you find, there's a family murder in the basement and it was this person who did it. And I don't know, if you really explore the wasteland, you can find all kinds of stuff that just really really immerses you in the gameplay, I think. It's one of those few games that you really feel immersed into the world the more you play. And I don't know, Fallout was just a real eye-opener for me when it came to gameplay with a bunch of the series that they played. I tried to go back and play some of the older ones, but never really got big on computer gaming personally. After Fallout 3, New Vegas came out. I played that a ton. That was really fun. They streamlined a few things. No major changes. Fixed a few bugs. It's more of a spin-off rather than it is a direct full game title, even though a lot of people say that's, the strongest in the franchise. Some people say it's 3. 4 is amazing. It's one of my favorite. The story was a little weak. They added a ton of elements to it, like you build settlements and can set up supply chains, and it just kind of made it a bigger scale rather than just like in the third one, you're the lone wanderer. You go around by yourself, exploring the wasteland, trying to find your parents, who, if I remember correctly, was voiced by Liam Neeson, was your father, who gets kidnapped or something like that. New Vegas, you're a courier who delivers a package and gets shot in the head, and you're trying to get revenge on the people who did it to you and figure out why. I never finished New Vegas. I screwed up something in the game, and I couldn't get past a certain point, and I was like, I am not restarting this entire fucking game so I could go back and figure this out. And I regret not doing that now, because I wish they'd come out with a remastered version, which I don't believe they have yet, which I would, I don't know, stab a midget for. If you have a midget, send them here, and that midget happens to have connections to Bethesda, let me know, and I'll stab them. I don't know. If you like RPGs, it's definitely up your alley. They've got the perk system, which there's all kinds of different perks: hacking, lockpicking, scrapping for parts. There's one, I can't remember the name of it. It's like the Phantom Wanderer, or the Phantom Stranger, the Stranger Hand Job, something, where this guy randomly rolls in out of nowhere wearing a cloak and just pulls a revolver out and guns down the guy you're going after. And the first time I saw that, my buddy Billy was playing, and I never really played the game before, and he's sitting there shooting it out with this guy, and this random fucking guy in a cowboy hat and a duster comes out and blows this guy away, and he's like, oh yeah, that happens. And I was just like, huh? But then I really got into the game and realized, like, they do this great balance of having this nasty, dystopian, everything's rotting, everybody's mutated or sick, all the water's poisoned, fucking dystopian. That's what it is. It's, if you know the definition of dystopia, that's exactly what it is. Then they have this light-hearted, cartoony 1940s Beaver Cleaver art feel to everything that just, like, I don't know, it gives it, maybe to me it makes it a little more menacing when something's cute and, murderous or deadly. Like, one of the perks is in, I think it's throughout all of them, I think, but in 4 they had the animated perk chart where everything does a little cartoon, and it's Bloody Mess, which means you shoot something, it blows the fuck apart, and it is just an explosion of blood, guts, gore. And seeing that in VATS with a little cinematic as you just see somebody's head explode like Gallagher hitting a watermelon, it's amazing. Drinking purified water, but it's from Florida water, so it's probably radiated anyways, and now I need to go get some Rad X or Rad Away, and my hair is going to start falling out more than it already is due to genes, but, it happens. That's why I always wear a hat. I've got the Carl Bruttanen and Alowski haircut under here, and there's like 3 people who are going to know that last name, and I fucking love all of you. But anyways, back to Fallout. So, Fallout, it's an amazing game series. I've really been playing 4 heavily, mainly all the mods. After I beat the game so many times, I played it. I have a tendency to, through all my RPG games, go through the hero the first time around. The second time around, sometimes I just go straight for evil and fuck everybody up and kill everything and just have fun with it. Sometimes I kind of, walk the middle and just have a fun time. With the mods, though, it's just fun, especially in Fallout 4. I got this mod. They're the Iron Man rocket boots instead of the jetpack, so I fly around like Iron Man and stuff. It's hilarious. It's fun. On PlayStation, I've noticed that PlayStation 4 and Xbox have completely different mods. What I love about PlayStation 4, they've got a mod that make the graphics a little better, which I love Fallout, but their graphics have always lacked slightly due to the world that they have to build around it. So it's a compromise, and I love the line they walk, and I've always been happy with the graphics, but to have people, gamers who love the game so much, they literally put an entire patch in to make their graphics better, that's just astounding fandom to me, and that shows you like that this company or companies involved throughout the series, Black Isle, Obsidian, Bethesda, everybody that's worked on it, they've been able to build a world that people love. And like I don't get to go to a bunch of cons, sadly, but I follow everyone under the sun, and every time there's tons of people walking around in Fallout gear, and it's just like, I don't know. I love that. This year, my son picked our Halloween costumes. He decided he's going to be from Fortnite, and I'm going to be from Fallout. So some of the stuff in front of you are some of my props I'm in the process of hacking apart or painting or making into my Fallout gear this year. So that's going to be fun. I don't know. If you haven't played the games, pick one up and play it. The mods make playthrough a complete blast, especially if you've already played through all the storyline. I've always, I don't know, it's cheating if you have all the mods in the beginning and just fucking blow through all your enemies with, the Gatling gun or I can't remember the name of it, but it's the cannonball launcher that does like 400 damage. If you like walk out the vault with that in your hand, of course the game's going to be a little one-sided. But the playthrough with mods is just hilarious. Or like sometimes it's going to be a lot harder for people to kill you, so you're like, fuck it, let's do this. So I was just playing the other day, and I already done a ton of stuff, but I haven't really done anything in the story, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to go to the Brotherhood of the Steel. And I'm sitting there having the main talk with the leader, I can't remember his name, and I'm just like, what would happen if I killed him right now and completely negated everything else of his story? But because of my mods, my VATs are ridiculous, and I've got the railroad gun. So I literally hit my VATs and slowly, one by one, target everybody in the head with my rail gun and pick them off one by one. And in that cinematic form, you see railroad spikes just rip heads off and pin them to the wall. And then I just emptied out the entire base for the Brotherhood of the Steel that's floating in the sky. And then I shot the thing with a bunch of mini nukes, but it wouldn't do anything because later on you've got to do the mission that brings it down. But I don't know if that's going to happen now because I just killed a lot of them. So, but again, that's what mods and replayability is all about. Fuck shit up and see what happens. Fallout was the first game series for me to really introduce the fact that actions have consequences, and the choices you make really will affect how the game plays out. There's good endings, bad endings, things that seemingly don't connect that hours and hours later have a consequence, which their first game, Fallout 1, like, you could straight murder children, and that was like, yeah, it got banned in the UK. A lot of people didn't like it because child murder is frowned upon. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it should be, but not my kid. I love my kid. He's awesome. Other people's kids, it's a biased opinion, but everybody's entitled to their own wrong opinion. I'm no different. So, anyways, but yeah, like Fallout, that's where a lot of people kind of got hurt with Fallout. Not hurt, but upset with Fallout 4, that their dialogue trees kind of died. Not died, just instead of it being like an actual dialogue that you would have back and forth with your characters, your dialogue wheel was reduced to a style or like sarcastic remark, mean remark. It just kind of dumbed it down, and it felt like the conversations lost a lot of their heart. But again, with that one, they added so much elsewhere with all the building and customization of the weapons and stuff like that. And I really think the building settlements was just such a fun thing. And like thinking about it, like I sit there and play Minecraft with my son, and I'm just like, I put a cube here and I'm building a wall. And then I'm like, damn it, I did the same thing in Fallout, only it was a shitty wooden fence as opposed to a grass cube that I'm building in the blocks. So I'm playing Minecraft for adults that does have awesome go kill shit elements, but at the end of the day, the amount of time I've spent building settlements, it's Minecraft for adults. But it's awesome. And I know plenty of adults who actually play Minecraft and do some amazing cube shit. And it actually is very fun. And when I do play with my son, we lose track of time. And I'm like, oh, we built this little house. It's 4 hours. But the same thing happens in Fallout with the settlement building. Because, like, you get really into it. You're like, all right, you set up supply lines, or a person's going from this settlement to get you supplies. You've got these people gathering food. You've got this person cooking. You've got this person running stores. You literally build settlements, and it's like, I don't know, it feels more like kind of like you're watching The Walking Dead, how they're always building settlements, trying to set up and live and survive. And of course, zombies or somebody comes and wants something. It's similar, different dystopia, zombie apocalypse as opposed to post-nuclear Fallout. The big thing, which I should have mentioned at the beginning of the game, or the beginning of the video, is Fallout is an alternate timeline where instead of focusing on electricity and power like that, it's more atomic-based and nuclear-based. The mini-nukes in the game were actually like the government, historically speaking, in the Fallout universe, the government went away from large-scale nukes that just decimate entire continents or very large land masses, to smaller nukes to just basically like surgically nuke somebody, where you can take out, you know, a small mile as opposed to miles and miles and miles and shit like that. So in the game, when you mini nuke somebody, it's fun. Like in Fallout 3, there's this town of excuse me, it's the radiated water, it messes with me. Megaton, yeah. It's a town formed in the crater of a nuke that didn't go off, and you literally have the choice at one point in the game to set the nuke off and destroy a town, or don't set the nuke off. I played through both times, both ways. It, like I said, the game really does, the series does a great deal to really like give you that feel of consequence to your actions. And with all the games that I've played, New Vegas 3, 4, I just got 76. Like I said, 76 is going to be its own episode because that is a very large step away from what they've gone for in their series. And that's like, you know, the 3, Lone Wanderer. You're wandering the wasteland alone, you know, kind of like Mad Max, which is very similar, where they got a lot of their ideas from, along with a ton of other things. But, you know, that's with both my work schedule over the years and just life in general. I've always been more of a lone gamer, just because I game at 2 in the morning when most people either asleep or, you know, doing whatever. So Fallout to me was a great game to play alone. And when they introduced you can bring a buddy along and stuff like that, even though that the characters at first had very little interaction or customability or anything like that, it was fun to fight along somebody. Nowadays, I listen to a ton of like D&D podcasts or actual play, role-playing tabletop podcasts, and it's just fun to like hear people have that camaraderie, even though it's, you know, what video games originated from. It's fun to hear that camaraderie. And playing solo games, you don't really have a lot of that. And that's like, I remember like when Splinter Cell first came out, which is around the same time I got one of my Fallouts. Like, it was a fun game, but again, you're going through sneaky all by yourself. It's just serious the whole time. And again, with Fallout, it's got that darkness to it, but it has that light-hearted, comedic, you know, silver lining in that disgusting, rotting, radioactive cloud. But I don't know. 76, I was very skeptical about for a long time because they're doing the whole massive multiplayer online MMO thing, and part of me it's like it goes against everything Fallout's been, but part of me is like, I fucking love this game series, and if there's other people out there who love the series as much as I do, I'll find like-minded people to play with that'll make it a fun experience. I briefly tried Red Dead Online, and that was just frustrating because if you don't have a group of fucking people to play with, as soon as you start something, somebody comes up and hog ties you and throws a fucking Molotov cocktail on you and watches you burn. That's annoying when it happens 17 fucking times in a row, and chances are it's some 11-year-old little shit sitting at home, and I'm fucking dying. Like, give me a break. Just, I'm not bothering you, let me play. That's just, come on. Camaraderie, leave me the fuck alone. 76 is going to test me. Luckily, I love Fallout enough to hopefully the game will pull me in. Everybody's telling me that you really need to have a group of people to play with. If that's the case, I'm going to be fucked a good amount of the time, but got a few friends who I'll hopefully tag along with and help me out along the way. I don't know. Like I said, Fallout, there's a ton of stuff. So the vaults. So I'm all over the place with this one, guys. I'm sorry. It's just when you're passionate about something, you just kind of go where it goes. The vaults are these underground dwellings that you're supposed to live in while Fallout happens after the nukes go and the Great War. But Vault-Tec had a lot of ulterior motives, so a lot of the vaults they did experiments in, they kidnapped people, murdered, all kinds of weird shit. They had a vault that they did noise experiments on people where they slowly drove them mad. They had one where they introduced, death claws. Giant, gnarly, bipedal, horned, mid-90s Godzilla-esque looking monsters, genetically government-made from chameleons, somehow ends up being a 20-foot long, 10-foot tall fucking beast of a monster that kills you unless you have like power armor and a hell of a weapon. But one of the best and most iconic creatures in the game series, death claws. They're awesome. One of the experiments that Vault-Tec did was make super smart, intelligent, like human-level intelligent death claws and introduce them to a colony in a vault, and thinking that the death claws are going to rip them apart and kill them. Instead, they started coexisting together. That's crazy. Like, I don't know if there's, like I said, that 1994 or 96, whatever, with Matthew Broderick Godzilla. Looks like that, but with big fucking horns. And a cheat for you, if the horns are going forward, it's a male. If the horns are going backwards, it's a female. Remember that. Yeah, but they made smart ones, and they sent them out basically as sniffer dogs to find settlers or people from vaults. And instead of what you would assume they would just fucking take over because they're gnarly, they actually were kind of peaceful and made a truce with the vault people. Like I said, the world's massive. Each game they got a little bigger, a little better, a little different. But the core of the game has always been there, and I think that's what draws its fans there. Like I said, 76 has me skeptical, but I'm going to give it my best shot, and in a few weeks we'll have a follow-up on that episode, or a follow-up to that on then their stuff. Words, good. Ghouls I kind of talked about already. The Brotherhood of the Steel. They're the armored badasses that just kind of wander the wasteland who seem altruistic at first, but then again they're more like a military state where They take what they want from people who are just trying to get by, and if they don't like it, they beat the shit out of them. In Fallout 4 mainly is when you really get into their storyline, and you can literally, if you don't like them, you can fucking destroy them all. 4 also had the synths, which are Blade Runner-esque fake humans who sometimes don't know they're synths, sometimes they do, sometimes they have ulterior motives that they don't know about. It's all like Manchuria Candidate kind of stuff. But that's like one of the main storylines in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 also had a lot of add-ons like Far Harbor, which Nick Valentine was one of my favorite characters. He's a synth 1940s style detective. He was a lot of fun to play. And also in 4 they introduced the Silver Shroud, who's like almost like the Shadow if you guys are comic nerds, which some of you might be. But he's like a kind of a superhero, but instead of saving the day, he shoots up bad guys who are selling drugs to kids and leaves a calling card. One of my biggest complaints with Fallout 4 was a lot of the side quests, instead of them ending when they come to a head, they just repeated, and this place is under attack, go help them out. This place needs this, go do this. It just got repetitive. It should have just ended at a point and sadly completed the game, or moved on to build, explore, start over, whatever. I understand they wanted to build the replayability, but when it's literally the go help this settlement for the 100th time from rogue robots that just respawn the next 5 rounds from now, kind of got repetitive. But again, Fallout 4 they definitely focused more on replayability as well as just expanding the world itself and giving you really the ability to build a life in Fallout, to where instead of just playing this character's story, you can build this character a house and have people and have to worry about keeping these people fed and happy and all this other stuff, which was fun. And I know in 76 there's certain elements of that, but they're more guided towards your character, where you've got to, I don't know, 76 is going to be a whole nother episode. It's going to be different. I don't know, closing thoughts, I guess. Fallout is an amazing game series. If you haven't played it, you're missing out. If you have played it and don't like it, you're wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, you're wrong. So, I don't know. Play Fallout. It's an awesome game. I know throughout all their series they've had great voice acting done, all the way back from the original. They had Ron Perlman in, I think, the first one, and they didn't even like use his crazy looking square face. They ended up using like clay made heads that they had to like stop motion animate, and it took like weeks to do each one. Liam Neeson was in the third one. The fourth one had, I'm sure, good people in it. I can't remember offhand, but I don't know. The series has always been great. Pick it up, play it. If you haven't, you need to. If you haven't played it with, that's my thing. If you've played it in the past and need to come back to it, play it with mods. It just makes the playthrough fun. It really does. There's some crazy shit out there, like the Macho Man Randy Savage Death Claws, which is a Macho Man Randy Savage all fucking made cattywampus into a death claw, and he attacks you. There's, or no, I might be thinking of Skyrim. No, I don't know. Skyrim's got some crazy mods too, but I don't know. All the mods are fun. They make everything just a little more interesting. I'm running, that's right, in Fallout right now, I'm running around in Batman armor because I've got Wayne Tech gear, and then my sidekick's running around in Nightwing armor or Red Hood armor. So it's just like the modding community has done great things for the Fallout, and I feel that Fallout's also taken a lot of the fans' feedback and stuff like that and channeled it back into the games, and I feel that it shows that they really do care about their gaming followers and the people who like really get into it. And like I said, all the little side things really fill out the game and just immerse you into that Fallout world where we just get a little closer each day. So, you know, our mini nukes right now are more massive and everybody's got fingers on them, or at least, you know, that and Twitter. But either way, one way or another, we're all fucked. Just depends when, where, why. Till then, stay devious. If you want to play with me on 76 whenever I get there, my gamer tag's Court of Owls 159, and I think that's on all my systems I play on. Stay devious, wasters.